Adrian gazed out the towering windows of his family's glimmering penthouse. Below, the dazzling lights of the city sparkled all the way to the horizon. To anyone on the gritty streets down there, Adrian knew his life must seem like a dream, living large in the lap of luxury high atop the richest zip code, wanting for nothing. During the day, he studied with elite tutors to prepare him for the prestigious boarding school he was set to attend next year. On his free time, Adrian could partake in any activity he liked: golf on the rooftop putting green, gaming on his massive home theater, or working out in their professionally equipped gym. For meals, he simply told the cook his desires, and delectable dishes were served. But to Adrian, the extravagant penthouse had become a bejeweled prison of isolation. His parents were constantly working, with barely a word at breakfast before rushing out the door for 18-hour work. He only ever saw them exhausted at dinner, too drained from meaningful conversation. While other kids bonded at school, Adrian's friendships were limited to strictly vetted children of his parents' business associates who cared more for his wealthy background than him. As the hollow isolation of his existence wore on him, Adrian began sneaking rides downtown on the family driver Jed's day off. He relished walking the bustling streets anonymously, making up stories about the lives of the people he passed. The bold graffiti artists, the wary workers grabbing coffee, the street musicians filling the air with melodies. He yearned to understand the world beyond his insular tower. One day, while ducking down a narrow alley to avoid some prep school acquaintances, Adrian bumped right into a teenage girl, knocking the art supplies she was carrying everywhere. "I'm so sorry," Adrian said, immediately helping gather her things. "It's cool," the girl replied with a smile. Adrian was mesmerized by the vibrant colors streaking her arms as she brushed pastel dust off her worn dress. Adrian quickly paid for replacements at the nearby art store, nervously explaining himself to the bold, paint-splattered girl. She just laughed. "Don't sweat it." Adrian hesitated before. "I'm Jade. And yeah, like the stone, you should see my apartment building. Definitely no penthouse, but we got a roof with a decent view if you ever want to see." And so Adrian did. As they watched the sunset between weathered buildings, Adrian felt truly at home for the first time. With Jade, he could speak freely without judgment, feeling accepted in a way the wealthiest address couldn't provide. A real friendship had been unlocked. Adrian began splitting his weeks between his golden tower and Jade's world. She introduced Adrian to the local art scene and taught him graffiti techniques, reawakening his creativity. His tutors questioned the colorful stains on his clothes and lack of focus, but Adrian hardly cared. He had eyes only for this life of vibrancy and connections he had been missing. The night before Adrian left for boarding school, he slipped Jade a note asking her to meet on their rooftop view. As the fading light draped the city in shadow, Adrian turned to her with resolution. "I'm not going tomorrow, or at least not for long. This," he said, spreading his arms wide to the worn, real world around them. "This is where I belong." Jade nodded, putting a supportive hand on Adrian's shoulder. "I get it. The connections here are what count, not glittering isolation." Adrian pulled out 2 canisters of spray paint and handed one to Jade with a meaningful look. They left a breathtaking graffiti mural on the rooftop wall, one last criminal mark on the city before Adrian bid farewell, to privilege to join Jade building their own. Vibrant, a world sealed in friendship, not gold.